Japan, year 1185 AD. It was a time of bitter struggle, an era of dark and violent war between two clans. Minamoto, the rebels, fought against Taira, who controlled the emperor. From land, they brought this conflict to the waves of the ocean in the final battle of Dan no Ura. Both sides knew that the outcome of this battle would dramatically shift the course of Japanese history forever. The sun rose from the east. Though the Taira were far outnumbered, they were clever and knew these seas well. They used the morning riptide to surround the Minamoto fleet with their ships, gaining the upper hand. However, their enemy was tough and lasted longer than expected. As the afternoon came, the tides turned, and the Taira found themselves in trouble. As their ships lost control and drifted apart, a traitorous Taira general defected to a Minamoto ship. It was there that he revealed the ship that housed the 6-year-old emperor Ontoku. Led by Commander Yoshitsune, the Minamoto clan diverted all of their fleet's archers and manpower towards the emperor's ship. The Taira were doomed. Rather than allow the emperor to be captured by the Minamoto, the child's grandmother, Tokiko, grabbed Antoku and threw him into the dark waters, drowning him. She then commanded any Taira still alive to rid the ship of the Imperial Regalia stored in the cabin below. These were 3 sacred treasures: the sword Kusanagi-no-Tsurugi, the mirror Yata no Kagami, and the jewel Yasakani no Magatama. The Taira managed to throw the sword and the jewel overboard, but the ship was quickly captured. The Minamoto seized the mirror, which blinded the soldier who pried open its box. Minamoto divers soon recovered the jewel as well. However, the sword was lost. So it's strange that, for centuries and even to this day, the Japanese imperial family claims to possess all 3 sacred treasures, including the sword Kusanagi, despite there being no outside confirmation, photographs, or even official drawings of any of them. These legendary items have not been seen for over 800 years, yet their existence continues to be asserted, as does their importance. At the end of World War II, when Emperor Hirohito surrendered his monarchy to the Allied powers, he ordered the Lord Keeper of the Privy Seal of Japan to protect the Imperial Regalia at all costs. And as recent as 2019, the 3 sacred treasures were formally bestowed to the new Emperor Naruhito. I'm Mr. Mythos, and I welcome you to Truth or Lore. Be sure to subscribe if you love investigating the mysteries of history like I do. Every sub is an incredible support for my channel. Without further ado, let's seriously question the 3 objects that legitimize the Japanese imperial family and attempt to understand why even the current emperor has left their boxes unopened. We'll begin by taking a close look at the 3 sacred treasures themselves. What do they look like? And what is their reported status as of today? The sacred jewel, known as Yasakani no Magatama, is a curved, comma-shaped bead made to be worn on a necklace. This type of Japanese jewelry is far older than you may imagine. These beads, known collectively as Magatama, originate as far back as 1000 BCE. It's thought that they are shaped to resemble the tooth of a large animal. They became so popular and common that they were traded almost as a type of currency. And like many others, the Yasakani is made of green jade. This ceremonial jewel is symbolic of the benevolence required of an emperor. Today, it is supposedly housed in the 3 palace sanctuaries in Tokyo. Intriguingly, in 1928, American ethnologist Daniel Clarence Holtom stated that this sacred jewel is the only one of the 3 regalia that still exists in its original form. You'll understand why he came to this conclusion soon enough. The sacred mirror, known as Yata no Kagami, is thought to be large and octagonal in shape. This is suggested by its name, which roughly translates to the 8-hand mirror. As a common trope in Japanese folklore, mirrors are thought to be imbued with divine power due to their ability to reveal the truth. They reflect what is shown in front of them. Thus, the Yata represents the wisdom and honesty of the emperor. In the year 1040 AD, there are credible reports that a fire broke out and burned the compartment containing the sacred mirror. So one has to seriously question whether the mirror was irrevocably lost during that time. If so, why does the mirror show up in the Battle of Dan no Ura, which occurred in 1185? Was it a replica? Today, the mirror is thought to be located in the Ise Grand Shrine in the Mie Prefecture. The sacred sword, known as Kusanagi-no-Tsurugi, represents the valor and bravery of the emperor and is a bit more mysterious than its peers. Its only physical description was recorded in an obscure document from the early 1700s. According to this Edo period document, a Shinto priest named Matsuoka was tasked with repairing the wooden box which housed the sword. Upon his careful attempt, he accidentally revealed another box inside, except this one was made of stone. It was separated from the outside box with a thick layer of red clay. Curiosity must have gotten the better of him, because he pried open the inner stone box to find a hollowed log of a camphor tree, its interior lined with gold. In it was the sword, approximately 82 centimeters long and fashioned from some white-colored metal. Its blade resembled a calamus leaf, with the middle spiked like the spine of a fish. After this momentary observation, the priest was caught and immediately banished from the shrine. Not long after reporting his experience, he became terminally ill. Today, the sword is said to be kept at the Atsuta Shrine in Nagoya. If the sword does exist, it's unlikely that anyone alive has seen it. Like the other two treasures, only the emperor is permitted access to it, and no emperor since the death of Ontoku has admitted to seeing it. Only the wooden box in which it is stored. So we have an idea of what these sacred treasures are, what they represent, and where they may be located today. But to understand their true meaning and perhaps solve this mystery, we must take a look at the legendary origins of the Imperial Regalia, where they came from and why they are held with such reverence. According to ancient Japanese legend, the sun goddess Amaterasu had a fight with her brother Susanoo, the god of the sea. In tears, she retreated to a cave, taking the sunlight with her and casting the universe into darkness. Feeling responsible, Susanoo devised a plan to lure out his sister from the cave. He hung both the sacred jewel and sacred mirror on a 500-branch sakaki tree. The jewel caught Amaterasu's attention, and when she saw the mirror next to it, she became startled by her own reflection and distracted enough that the gods could pull her out. As a token of apology, Susanoo offered her the sword Kusanagi, which he found hidden in the severed fourth tail of the great eight-headed serpent Orochi. Amaterasu accepted Susanoo's apology, bringing light back to the universe. It was centuries, perhaps millenniums later, that the goddess Amaterasu gifted her grandson Ninigi no Makoto those three sacred treasures and sent him to Earth to pacify Japan. Ninigi became the legendary ancestor of the Japanese imperial line, and from that point forward, the Imperial Regalia signified the Emperor's divinity as a descendant of Amaterasu, thus confirming his legitimacy as paramount ruler of Japan. This notion is particularly apparent in how much emphasis is placed on the 3 Imperial Regalia when an emperor abdicates or assumes the throne. These objects are what physically connect the current emperor to a divine lineage. More so, they are a symbol that the ancient traditions of the Japanese Empire have survived. So you can see why this would be a powerful motivator to reconstruct these objects if they were ever lost, or purport their existence even if they never existed in the first place. Still, it's hard to say for certain that this is the case. Just because we haven't seen them in centuries, they could all very well exist today. Perhaps even the originals, if you believe the imperial family and the Shinto priests that safeguard the treasures. It may be more likely, though, that both the mirror and the sword were replaced by replicas long before our modern era. The 3 sacred treasures of Japan fall into a special category of mythical objects, as they are documented by reliable sources and their exact locations are assumed to be known. We just aren't allowed to see them. As to their current status, I relate it to 19th century physicist Erwin Schrödinger's thought experiment that questions the reality of something that cannot be observed. You probably already know this one, but if not, I'll give a quick summary. A hypothetical cat is placed into a sealed steel chamber where there is an equal chance that a poison may or may not be released. As we cannot observe the status of the cat, nor the status of the poison, the cat is thrust into a state of superposition where it may be considered both alive and dead at the same time. Only once the chamber is opened does reality collapse into one possibility. The cat is either dead or alive. So, does the Imperial Regalia actually exist? The answer is yes, and no. Does it matter? I don't think so. Just as it is impossible to prove or disprove the existence of God or any number of gods, sometimes faith is a more powerful motivator than knowing the reality. If something is real and in front of you, there are grounds for scrutiny, but you can't form a compelling argument against the sanctity and holiness of something that can't be observed. Thus, whether they exist or not, there is no reason for the 3 treasures to ever be revealed. Thank you so much for watching. If you are intrigued by these famed Japanese treasures that may or may not remain suspended in a state of quantum superposition, give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. There's so many more mythical mysteries to come. As always, friends, stay tuned for the next episode of Truth or Lore.